Younger me, there's something I need you to hear. And I need you to hear it now, before the years slip by, before you wake up one day and wonder how you lost so much time. There is a truth about life that no one will tell you. A truth buried under all of the expectations, the rules, the scripts they hand you. Everything you want, success, happiness, meaning, is hiding in the places you're most afraid to go. Joseph Campbell said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." And younger me, that fear you feel, it's not there by accident. It's a signal, a compass. It's pointing directly at what you must face, what you must step into, what you must tear down if you ever want to be free. But I know you. I know what you believe. That you think you have time. You think if you just push hard enough, stay the course, prove yourself, you'll be rewarded. That one day, after enough struggle, it will all make sense. That's the lie. Life does not reward blind effort. It does not hand you peace just because you suffered. It does not wait for you to be ready. And if you keep waiting, if you keep convincing yourself that clarity, courage, or permission will arrive, you will spend your life running in circles, never realizing that the path was yours to carve all along. I know how exhausted you are. I know how much pressure you feel to be enough, to build something unbreakable, to never let yourself slip. But let me ask you something. When will it be enough? You tell yourself one day you'll slow down. One day you'll start living the way you always wanted. One day you'll finally feel safe. Younger me, one day never comes. If you don't stop now and ask yourself the hard questions, years will pass in a blur. You will achieve things, yes. But the hunger will never leave. The doubt will never fade. And one day you will wake up and wonder if you spent your whole life climbing the wrong mountain. You were told that if you did everything right, worked hard, followed the path, stayed disciplined, life would reward you. But let me ask you, reward you with what? More responsibility, more expectations, more battles to fight. Because here's the truth, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to make it easier, right? No one is going to give you permission to stop running. If you do not take control now, if you do not walk into the cave you fear, if you do not start making different choices, you will spend your entire life waiting for something that was never coming in the first place. I don't say this to scare you. I say this because I care. Because I've seen what happens when a man waits too long to wake up. And because I know you're strong enough to hear this now, while there is still time to change. I know what you're thinking. If the path you've been following leads nowhere, then where do you go from here? That's why I've brought 6 men with me today. Men who stripped life of its illusions. Men who saw what most never see. Men who could have spared me years of suffering if only I had listened sooner. Naval Ravikant, who understood that success is not wealth, it's freedom. Seneca, who saw with perfect clarity how time slips away while we waste it on things that do not matter. Jordan Peterson, who revealed the harshest truth of all, no one is coming to save you. Joseph Campbell, who exposed the greatest lie we are told, that the safest path is the right one. James Clear, who dismantled the myth of passion and showed that mastery, not inspiration, is the key to success. And Alan Watts, who whispered the final liberating truth. The more you try to control life, the more you suffer. Younger me, I am not here to break you down. I'm here because I want more for you. I want you to stop wasting years on things that never mattered. I want you to see through the illusions now, before it's too late. But the only way that happens is if you're willing to listen. If you're willing to see. If you're willing to step into the cave. Because once you do, nothing will ever be the same again. Younger me, I know what you believe. You think success is something you earned, something you grind for. A prize waiting at the end of a long, exhausting battle. There was a time when I believed that too, that success was something external, something to win. Then I found someone who saw through that illusion, Naval Ravikant. He built wealth, he built influence, and yet What he cared about most was something far greater: freedom. The ability to wake up every morning and decide how to live. Naval was one of the few who understood if money costs you freedom, it's not wealth. It's a cage. But you believe success is about money, about power, about proving yourself. You look at men who have wealth, who wear the right suits, drive the right cars, live in the right homes, and you assume they've won, that they've figured it out, that their lives must feel incredible. But younger me, let me tell you something no one else will. If you chase money the wrong way, you will spend your life becoming a slave to it. Most rich men are not free, they are trapped. Trapped by expectations, by lifestyles they can't escape, by businesses that demand everything from them. They own things, but their things own them. Their wealth is not freedom, it is a burden they cannot put down. You think money will buy happiness. It won't. Money will buy comfort. And comfort is not the same as fulfillment. You don't need millions. What you need is freedom. Freedom to wake up and decide what to do with your day. Freedom to walk away from anything that does not serve you. Freedom to live on your own terms without asking permission. That is what wealth is. That is what success looks like. But younger me, you will never reach it if you spend your life chasing the wrong things. The world will hand you a script. It will tell you to work hard, climb the ladder, earn more, buy more, spend more, impress more. And if you follow that path blindly, you will wake up one day in a golden cage, comfortable, admired, but utterly trapped. You will convince yourself that you cannot leave, that you've come too far, built too much, that it would be foolish to start over, that it's too late. But that is the real trap. That is the lie that keeps men locked in lives they do not want. Younger me, the only true measure of success is this. Do you wake up excited for your day, or do you wake up dreading it? Because if you are spending your life building something that does not bring you peace, you are not winning. You are running in the wrong direction. Success is not a number. It is not a title. It is not a status symbol. It is a question. Do you own your time? Or does someone else own it for you? Because if you do not own your time, you are not free. And if you are not free, you are not successful. So before you dedicate years to chasing something you might regret, ask yourself, who decided what success looks like for you? And are you willing to let that definition go? Younger me, you've just learned that success isn't about money, it's about freedom. But here's the real danger. Even if you understand this, you still assume you have time to figure it all out. But what if you don't? What if the greatest illusion is not money, but time itself? That was Seneca's lesson. A man who lived in a world of emperors, power, and distractions, yet saw with perfect clarity how fragile time really is. He knew that the greatest tragedy of life is not failure, it's wasting the years you were given. Seneca's wisdom is not comfortable, but it is essential. You are not in control of time, it is in control of you. I know what you believe. You think time is something you can afford to waste, that you can always make up for lost years, that you'll get around to the things that matter someday. But younger me, listen to me now. Time is not yours, it never was. Every single day, it is being taken from you. Every hour you waste, you do not get back. Every moment you spend on something meaningless is a moment you will never reclaim. And one day, without even realizing it, you will have far less of it left than you think. Most men do not live long lives. They simply take a long time to die. They survive. They go through the motions. They wake up, work, sleep, and repeat, filling their days with distractions, obligations, and hesitation. They never stop to ask themselves if what they are doing even matters, until one day when it's far too late and all they have left are the years they could have lived. You assume you are living, but let me ask you, when was the last time you truly felt alive? When was the last time you woke up and felt like you were exactly where you were meant to be? Because if you cannot answer that question, then I have news for you. You are not living. You are waiting. And waiting is the most dangerous thing a man can do. Right now, without realizing it, you are giving your time away. You think you're choosing how you spend your life, but you're not. You are leaking time. through distractions, obligations, and routines that serve no purpose. You are handing over the most precious thing you will ever have without even realizing it. And once it's gone forever. You tell yourself you have time, but if someone audited your last 10 years, what would they find? How many of those years were truly yours? You think regret comes from making the wrong choices. It doesn't, Maddie. The deepest regret, the kind that eats away at a man in his final years, comes from never having made a choice at all. It comes from playing it safe, from postponing what mattered, from convincing yourself that you had all the time in the world, only to wake up one day and realize you don't. Younger me, you need to understand something now before it's too late. You do not have years to waste. You do not have decades to wait for clarity. If you do not start making different choices now, you will blink and 20 years will be gone. You think you're in control. But younger me, you are not controlling time. Time is controlling you. The only way to stop it from slipping away is to take it back, to make a decision today, not tomorrow, not next year, not when you feel ready, but today, to stop wasting the days you will never get back. By now you see it clearly. So, time is slipping away. And if you don't act, you will wake up years from now filled with regret. But the question remains, who is responsible for making sure that doesn't happen? If no one is coming to stop the clock for you, then who is left? Younger me, listen to me. No one is coming. No one is coming to tell you what to do, as no one is coming to make it easier. This is the harshest truth of all, and no one exposed it more brutally than Jordan Peterson. He looked at the world and saw something most people refuse to admit, that most suffering comes not from failure, but from inaction, that the moment you start waiting for a mentor, for a perfect moment for someone to rescue you, you have already lost. He understood that the world is neither fair nor kind, and the men who succeed are not the ones who complain about it. They are the ones who accept the weight of responsibility and carry it anyway. If you keep waiting for someone to give you permission, you will wake up years from now and realize no one ever will. No one is coming to save you. I know what you believe. You think that if you keep working, if you keep pushing forward, if you keep proving yourself, someone will eventually see. That an opportunity will appear. That the right mentor, the right job, the right person will step in and guide you. That someone will tell you what to do. You believe deep down that life is a series of doors that will eventually open. That if you're patient enough, if you stay disciplined, if you just keep grinding, someone will eventually hand you the key. But younger me, let me ask you something. How many years have you spent waiting for permission to live your own life? Most men waste years waiting for clarity, for confidence, for someone to tell them what to do. They believe that at some point things will just make sense, that someone will give them the roadmap. But younger me, let me tell you the truth. If you wait for certainty, you will wait forever. The most dangerous thing a man can do is nothing. Every time you hesitate, you're making a choice. Every time you tell yourself, not yet, you're choosing weakness over strength. Every time you put off taking responsibility for your own life, you are handing over power to someone else. You tell yourself you are preparing, that you are waiting for clarity, that you need more time to figure things out. But younger me, how much longer are you going to wait? How many more years will pass before you finally realize that no one is coming to hand you your future? You are not lost. You are avoiding the burden of choosing your own path, because choosing means risk. It means responsibility. It means that if you fail, there's no one else to blame. But, younger me, let me tell you something. There's no greater failure than never having chosen at all. The men who wait for life to happen to them end up bitter, resentful, angry at a world that never gave them what they wanted. The men who take responsibility, who stop waiting and start building, are the ones who become something. Right now, without realizing it, you are at a crossroads. And from this moment forward, you will take one of two paths. The first is the path most men take, the path of inaction. The path where you keep waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right sign. The path where you convince yourself that the problem isn't you, it's your circumstances. The path where 10 years from now you will wake up and wonder how you let so much time slip away. The second path is harder. It demands that you take full responsibility for your life, that you stop waiting for someone to show you the way, and that you understand deeply and fully that no one is coming. The men who take this path are the ones who build something real. They do not wait to feel ready. They do not wait for certainty. They act despite uncertainty. They make a choice and they commit to it. Younger me, I don't want you to wake up one day and realize you spent your life waiting for permission to start living, because that moment of realization will be hell. That moment will break you. The only way to avoid it is to take responsibility now, to stop waiting, to start moving. Because from this moment forward, younger me, the only question that matters is this: are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to lead? Younger me, I know what you believe. You think there is a path, a road you're meant to walk. Joseph Campbell saw through this illusion before most men ever realized they were trapped in it. He spent his life studying myths, legends, and the journeys of great men, and he saw the same pattern appear over and over again. The men who lived lives worth remembering were never the ones who followed the expected path. They were the ones who stepped into the unknown, who abandoned the safety of the script and forged a road that did not exist before them. That is what the hero's journey is really about. It is not about comfort. It is not about safety. It is about leaving the known world behind and stepping into something greater, something uncertain, something terrifying. Because only there does a man find who he truly is. And yet, most men never take that step. They cling to the script. They stay where it is safe. They convince themselves that if they just keep following the path laid out for them, it will eventually lead to something meaningful. The script you're supposed to follow. It was given to you long before you were old enough to question it. Get good grades, get a degree, get a respectable job, buy a house, start a family, work hard, save money, retire at 65, and then finally get to enjoy your life. And because you followed this script, because you did everything right, you assume it will lead somewhere meaningful. You assume if you just keep going, it will all make sense. But younger me, let me ask you something. Has it made sense yet? Because here is the truth most men never realize until it's too late. The script was never written for you, Alice. It was written to keep you safe, to keep you useful, to keep you predictable. But it was never designed to make you happy. I know why you don't want to hear that. I know why you resist. Because if you admit the script is broken, then what? Then you're on your own. Then you must step off the safe path and into the unknown. Then you must create a life that does not come with instructions. And that is terrifying. But younger me, let me tell you what is even more terrifying. Waking up at 40, 50, 60 years old and realizing you lived your entire life by someone else's design. That you never questioned the road you were on. That you followed it blindly, assuming it would lead to meaning, only to find yourself standing at the edge of your life wondering, was this really it? Because that's what happens to most men. They follow the path. They do everything right. And yet deep down, something always feels off, that something is always missing. And do you know what they tell themselves? That they must not have worked hard enough. That the reason they still feel empty is because they need to do more, earn more, achieve more. But younger me, the problem is not that you haven't done enough. The problem is that you have been walking the wrong road. Right now, without realizing it, you are ignoring every instinct that tells you to turn back. The small voice inside that whispers, this isn't it. The feeling you get in your gut when you look at the life you are supposed to want and feel nothing. Most men silence that voice. They drown it in work, in distractions, in obligations. They tell themselves it will pass, that one day the path will start to feel right. But it won't, because it was never your path to begin with. You tell yourself leaving the safe road is too risky, that starting over is foolish, that you've already invested too much. But younger me, let me ask you this. If you were lost in the middle of the ocean, would you keep sailing in the wrong direction just because you had already been sailing for years? You already know the answer. If you are lost, you turn back. The men who live lives worth remembering are not the ones who followed the script. They are the ones who tore it up, who looked at the path laid out for them and had the courage to say, no, this is not for me. Younger me, no one is going to tell you when it's time to turn back. No one is going to give you permission to step off the path. That choice is yours alone. So tell me, are you going to keep walking toward a future you don't even want? Or are you finally ready to stop, turn around and start carving your own road? Younger me, I know what you've been told. Follow your passion. That's the advice they give you. Find what you love, chase it relentlessly, and everything else will fall into place. James Clear dismantled this lie. He didn't just write about habits. He exposed the truth about how real success works. He understood something that most people never figure out. Waiting for passion to strike is a trap. The men who build extraordinary lives do not start with passion. They start with discipline. They choose something, they commit to it, and they show up day after day until mastery turns into meaning. And once they become exceptional at it, passion follows. But most men do the opposite. They wait, they hesitate, they convince themselves that if they just found the right thing, the motivation would never fade, the work would never feel difficult, the path would always be clear. That's the lie. The greatest men in history did not wait to be inspired. They started, and they let their work shape them into something greater. It sounds good, doesn't it? It feels inspiring. But younger me, let me tell you something most people won't. Follow your passion is some of the worst advice you will ever hear. You think passion is the key to success. But the truth is, passion is what follows success, not what leads to it. You believe that if you could just figure out what you love, if you could just discover your true calling, then everything would make sense. That work would feel effortless, that motivation would never run out. That you would wake up every day feeling inspired, fulfilled, driven. But younger me, that's not how it works. Passion is not something you find. Passion is something you build. The most successful men in the world did not start out knowing exactly what they wanted. They did not wait to find their passion before they took action. They chose something, committed to it, and got good at it. And as they mastered it, as they built something of value, passion followed. Because passion does not come from what you love. It comes from what you are great at. Right now, without realizing it, you are waiting. You are waiting for some grand revelation to hit you. Waiting for a sign, for certainty, for a moment when everything clicks and you suddenly know exactly what you were meant to do. But younger me, that moment is never coming. If you sit around waiting to find your passion, you will waste years doing nothing. You will hesitate. You will start and stop. You will second-guess yourself. And while you are stuck in place, other men, less talented, less intelligent, but more decisive, will pass you by. Because they did not wait to feel passionate. They chose something and became excellent at it. You want to know what your passion is? Then stop looking for it and start building something worth being passionate about. Passion is not about what you do. It's about the discipline, the skill, the mastery you bring to it. If you're good at something, if you excel at it, passion will always follow. But if you waste your life searching for passion, waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity, then younger me, you will wake up one day and realize you spent your entire life waiting. The world is filled with men who never started because they were waiting to feel inspired. But the men who win, they are the ones who show up, put in the work, and let passion come as a result of what they create. So tell me, younger me, are you going to keep waiting for passion to find you? Or are you finally ready to pick something, commit, and make it your passion? Younger me, I know how much you crave certainty. You think if you could just map it all out, if you could just create the perfect plan, and then everything would fall into place. Alan Watts saw through the illusion of control. He spent his life studying the nature of existence, the way men cling to certainty, the way they seek to plan their way into security. And he realized something most never understand. Life is not something you figure out. It's something you experience. The men who try to map out every detail, who refuse to move forward until they have absolute certainty, are the ones who waste their lives standing still. Watts taught that the more you try to control life, the more you suffer, because life does not follow a script. The men who thrive are not the ones who create the most perfect plan. They are the ones who let go, the ones who understand that momentum is more important than certainty, the ones who stop waiting for the perfect conditions and just start moving. That if you had a 5-year strategy, a clear roadmap, a carefully calculated vision, you could avoid failure, avoid wasted time, avoid regret. But younger me, let me tell you something that will feel uncomfortable at first. Your obsession with long-term planning is just another form of fear. You want a plan because you want control. You think if you could just predict the future, you'd finally feel safe. You think that if you set the right goals, if you break them down into perfectly structured steps, you'll be able to guarantee success. But younger me, life does not work that way. I know you want certainty, but certainty is an illusion. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need to start moving. Most men waste years planning. They convince themselves they're being strategic, that they're getting ready, when in reality they are just afraid to take the first step. They want to know exactly where they will end up before they even begin. But younger me, life does not reveal itself in straight lines. The men who wait until they have a perfect plan never leave the starting line. You want to know what successful men do differently? They stop waiting for the perfect plan and they start acting. The more time you spend thinking about what you should do, the less time you spend actually doing it. And younger me, it is only through doing that you will ever find the answers you are looking for. You tell yourself you need more time to think, that you need to be absolutely sure before you commit. But let me ask you, what if clarity only comes after you take action? What if the reason you feel stuck, the reason you feel lost, is because you've been waiting for a plan instead of creating momentum? You're standing on the shore staring at the ocean, waiting for a perfect wind to carry you where you want to go. But younger me, no ship was ever built to stay in the harbor. If you refuse to move until you know exactly where you're going, you will never leave. And if you never leave, you will never grow. You don't need to know the whole journey. You just need to take the next step as well. Younger me, you have spent your life trying to figure everything out. But life is not a puzzle to be solved. It is an experience to be lived. You will never be 100% certain, and that is okay. You do not need control. You just need to trust yourself enough to take the first step. So tell me, what are you waiting for? The perfect plan? The perfect timing? Younger me, that moment will never come. The only way forward is to start walking. Younger me, by now, you have seen the illusions for what they are, the stories they told you, the lies that kept you running in circles, the waiting, the hesitation, I'd say, the belief that one day everything would make sense. Every great man who has ever changed his life had to do one thing first. He had to step into the unknown. He had to let go of the illusion that life was something he could control, something he could predict, something that would eventually give him permission to start living. That is the real test, not how much you achieve, not how much you suffer, not how hard you push, but whether you are willing to step into the cave you fear. Joseph Campbell understood this better than anyone. He saw that the greatest transformation happens when a man chooses uncertainty over comfort, risk over safety, action over hesitation. He saw that everything you are looking for, the life you want, the freedom you crave, the meaning you are desperate to find, is on the other side of your deepest fear. But most men never enter the cave. They stand at the entrance, they analyze it, they talk about it, they wait for the right moment, and then they turn back. You're standing there now, right at the entrance, and there are only two choices in front of you. You believed success was about money, but Naval Ravikant showed you that success is freedom. You thought you had time, but Seneca made it clear that every wasted hour is an hour you will never get back. You assumed someone would come and show you the way, but Jordan Peterson forced you to see that no one is coming. You followed the script you were given. But Joseph Campbell revealed that the only path worth walking is the one you carve for yourself. You waited to find your passion, but James Clear destroyed that myth, showing you that passion follows mastery, not the other way around. And finally, you thought you needed a 5-year plan, but Alan Watts taught you that life is not a puzzle to be solved. It is an experience to be lived. Now you stand at the entrance of the cave, and this is the moment of truth. Because once you see the cave, you cannot unsee it, Wildshire. Once you recognize the fear, you cannot pretend it isn't there. There are 2 paths in front of you. The first is the path most men take, the path of waiting, of hesitation, of following the road that was given to them, of believing they still have time. And one day, they wake up and realize nothing has changed. The second path is the one few take, the path of stepping into the cave, the path of taking responsibility, of carving out a life that does not come with instructions, of stepping forward even when it's terrifying. Younger me, let me tell you what happens if you do nothing. If you let this message pass through you like all the others, the months will turn into years. The years will turn into decades. And one day you will wake up, look in the mirror, and see a man you no longer recognize. A man who spent his life waiting. A man who always planned to change one day, but never did. You think you have time. That is the cruelest lie of all. Younger me, if you take nothing else from this, take this. Your life will not change when you wish for it to. It will change the moment you decide. No one will give you permission to change. No one will tell you when the time is right. It is on you to act, right now, not later. So tell me, when will you stop waiting? When will you stop preparing? When will you finally step into the cave? Because the life you want will not build itself. If you do not fight for it, no one else will, what happens next is entirely up to you.